Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 11th of March 2024. Okay, first things first, quick look at the news events for today. There really is very little amongst what's here. A couple of speakers out there, Japanese PPI later. There's nothing to write home about here at all, really. We've got a Bank of England man speaking at 5 o'clock this evening, but as you can see, it's a quiet old day. One thing to bear in mind that the clocks have changed in the US and Canada, so if you're doing anything US Canada wise, you'll see a change in timing. One thing to bear in mind this morning, just reading this news here, that Bitcoin, the London Stock Exchange confirms it will accept applications for admission of Bitcoin and Ethereum crypto ETNs in the second quarter of 2024. You may just see there's a bit of a blip going on your crypto markets. So, delightful news. Moving on then, let's have a look at these markets, starting off with the euro dollar. Well, actually I should have mentioned Friday's jobs reports. The US average earnings had decreased slightly. They're up just 0.1 versus 0.2. Non-farms employment change was much better than expected, so it's 275,000 jobs created versus 198. And the unemployment rate was slightly worse than expected at 3.9 versus 3.7, so a bit of a choppy old day, and consequently we saw the markets chop after the news. So news came out. So this euro at the moment, then euro dollar high lows, high highs coming through here on the 4-hourlies. We're on this sort of plateau at the moment. There's nothing really happening. It seems like someone hasn't switched the switch on yet, but I'm sure it'll get switched on sooner or later. Technically, in terms of everything that's running here, my preference would be for a continuation to the upside. Well, the obvious place for that to start is the break above the daily pivot post 8 o'clock. However, it isn't consolidating around the highs, it's consolidating lower than the high, and sometimes this turns out to be a bit of an ugly move and might run to the downside first. So you just need to be careful, but the overall trend with the euro is certainly currently up. The pound, again, you can see solid up movement. We have run into the monthly R2. That's put a bit of a brakes on there on Friday, but again, we're seeing this consolidation sitting there around the daily pivot. If this daily pivot is correct, it looks to me like it's wrong because it's running right the way through. Let me just see if I can switch it over for a moment. Alright, that's it. Put that one on. Now put this one back on. Nope, it's insisting on showing the same daily pivot. I'm not 100% convinced that's right, and certainly this one isn't. The other one isn't right either. But I'll check that. But in terms of price action, either way, I'd want to see the price running above the highs, near-term highs here, for any upside if I was trading that. But it certainly had a solid move up there. Okay, the dollar yen, it continues its route to the downside here. There's an expectation that rates are going to be adjusted, but they're not really saying when. We don't know if it'll be March this morning. Needs to be done soon, but we don't know if it's going to be March. Well, when is it going to be then? Okay, or April or May. Right. Technically, we're in a downward trend here now on the dollar yen. Again, we've got this consolidation to a degree. It's not quite the same to me. That just looks a bit on the softer side. It looks like it's ready to continue on the rollover. So potential continuation to the downside on the yen. No immediate trade setup, but it's thereabouts. Aussie dollar, it picked up pretty well last week. Got this shooting star in on Friday. You could say there's quite a few reversal bars on the Friday bar. It's not the prettiest bar across a lot of the markets, and we have had some reactions coming away from them, but this looks a bit better. The pivots we have got different pivots on this feed. So looking at the Australian dollar at the moment, lower highs coming through on the short time frame, bigger time. It's a mixed bag, and looking at the bigger picture here, it's taken the high out there, put a high low in, taking the shoulder out of that little that head and shouldery pattern. So it really has changed things. Now what we could end up with is something like this. We get it quite a bit in the Aussie. It has probably been helped a lot by the Chinese data and potential help towards growth there from the government, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, US dollar CAD, support off its monthly S1 there, not far short of its yearly pivot. It's also got a quarterly pivot around that area here, bouncing a little bit. It's quite rangy actually. I'll come back to the daily here, and it is in some sort of range. Slight range to the upside there. I don't have a trade on it at the moment. I'm just not. It's just too questionable for me there. New Zealand dollar, again, ranging type of market, but like the Aussie in terms of its range is a little bit clearer. It's running into the upside. It's run into its yearly pivot again here, and reacted once again. At the moment, it's just how far it does. Again, we've got the consolidation away from the low highs, beg your pardon, and this generally is a weaker signal, and I find it breaks down quite a lot. It's looking like it's got the potential to push up there. As I say, these pivots certainly ain't right, so I've got to be a bit careful. I'm going to refresh this later this morning, but these pivots are certainly in the wrong place, because they're exactly the same pivot as we've seen on Friday for some reason. Dollar Swissy, so it's a different feed on here. Different Dollar Swissy continue to drop off a little bit. This looks much weaker now. It's never the cleanest, but it's starting to move a tad more, and looks like we could see a continuation through to the lows, maybe further. Bigger picture here, what we found support off its yearly pivot on Friday there, but it does look like it's wanting to come back again. We'll watch this through this morning post 8 o'clock, see what it does. Okay, my sort of major go-tos, euro yen coming off here, no real surprise. A bit of a continuation. The original trend line that I've drawn on here, it's coming back up coming to test now. That too could run over. It looks like we could be breaking in. We've definitely got a structural change on a number of different time frames here, but the lower highs coming through. Another one done, put in at the end of last week, and certainly you see on the dailies here, it just looks like it's got further downside to run on this euro yen. So we'll see how it breaks from this trend line. It's the original trend line from way back, but certainly looks on the weaker side of things. It's just looking for setups to come off of that. It has at the moment sat in this consolidation phase. Maybe we'll see a breakdown soon. Okay, they're the majors I'm looking through at the moment. I'll go through the others in a short while. Gold. Let's have a look at gold. Well, gold seems to be going at the moment, and probably going a lot further than I thought it would go for sure. This can't be all on the fact that interest rates are going to be reduced in the US, etc. I mean, these are all-time highs here, so maybe it's just a euphoria, but it's going. There's no longs on this for me, and I certainly wouldn't want to be trying to short against this market on any time frame here. Okay, oil, it's just been so blinking awkward, and it looks like it's not going to be too dissimilar. It's been horribly choppy over the last few weeks here. I've just left it alone in the end. I sort of have a look post time. Sometimes it's just yeah, quite ugly as the usual. It's 4 o'clock. What am I doing? 11, 12, 1, 2. There's my 2 o'clock. It's not even, didn't even show as any significance there. It's much later when it started rolling. But anyway, to me at the moment it's in this sort of range, tightish range, and it's not of any interest yet. S&Ps Friday, well, sort of mixy news there. Ended up making a new high only to close lower, but still very much in an upward trend. Just below the daily pivots here, what I can see. Sorry, new weekly pivots, and certainly below its daily pivots. Odd that we got new daily pivots on here. Anyway, with the same broker, but really got quite choppy there on Friday. Not really liking the news. Mixed news that it was on Friday, and it's sort of rolled over later in the afternoon there. Anyway, would I want to be shorting this? Absolutely not. It's just a case of waiting if it does to get a decent retrace back to a monthly pivot or something else. I mean, it might be an opportunity later today, when if it breaks back above the weekly pivot, starts moving, could be an opportunity then. Likes of the Nasdaq, well, same sort of picture here. Popped into new highs, pulled back, same old picture. Dow Jones a bit sleepier. It's a bit like Joe Biden. It's fallen off to sleep. Anyway, DAX. Well, it's like my chart at the moment is going so slow. DAX, same, just popped into a new high there, new annual high. Just rolling a little bit back over at the moment. This all can change first thing on a Monday. Just looking, actually, it's down to its S1 on here. But looking like it wants to catch a bounce. It could be targeting the daily pivot. They've got a high probability of being hit. We'll see what it does again post 8 o'clock as things liven up. And the FTSE finally, well, the FTSE's not looking great at all. It just continues to remain in this horrible choppy old zone. It's rangy. I'm sure some of you are doing okay out of it. They're playing the ranges, but it's quite ugly in my book, and don't like ugly markets. Finally, as it is that day, let's just flick across, and we've seen a lot of action. There we go. I'll show you the Bitcoin. That's what happens when the Bank of England say yes. It's certainly a positive kicker for the morning, making it running into new high territory. Is that new high? It's not new. It is. No, it is. It's new high. There we go. So doing a good one at the moment. Continuing to push up there. So this time next year, Rodney. Right, I'll leave it there. I wish you a great day's trading, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now. There we go.